Hello everyone, I'm Brad. Today I'm reacting to How Robots Will Transform Our World, the Future of AI, Robotics, Lakhani, Hindu Academy. So I don't think I've ever, I don't know if Jay Lakhani has answered AI. I'm kind of curious. And there have been some questions about my belief in terms of how us and robots are one and the same. And a lot of the comments saying, like, how can I believe that? Fair enough question, honestly. And please, if you have any more to add to this, because I do want to dedicate a video to that. I really need to dedicate a video to answering those questions because I want to make sure I explain myself well, to, hopefully for you to understand, and either for you to either start questioning your beliefs about about us and robots and AI, or to destroy my argument. So I'm eager for both, honestly. But let's go and get started.
Instead of living this physical way, like for example, I see you, I sit with you, and I talk with you, and we drink tea and to go together, the world is moving so fast, is living in a virtual reality. So, for example, you go to a restaurant, there are two people, they're not talking to each other, ting, 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 they're doing this. So they're in a virtual world with images coming up, little scenery coming up, whatever. So they're instead of seeing the world in front of themselves, they're kind of lost in this kind of very virtual reality. Now, this is unstoppable. Because I'm pretty sure there'll be some now coming up with movies, etc., where you get the full experience of being involved in the movie, where you're fighting or whatever, and the seat shudder and everything up, and you can they put the goggles on you, and you are living in a virtual reality, and you are interacting there. So this is my fear that we may instead of lose track of this physical world that we are so happy with, and enter a virtual world where we will be lost. That is a very real likelihood.
I was actually thinking about that some time ago because of like a lot of the VR stuff, Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, I believe is one of them. I don't know if it's still a thing, and I don't know if there's another one. But yeah, I was thinking like there's even some episodes of shows that the Black Mirror, I believe, is a series on Netflix. I think so good. Some of them are. I think the first season is pretty good. I believe. Again, it's been a long time since I watched it, but I do want to watch it again. Anyways, we're basically, and also a game called Soma. Again, very interesting thing talking about consciousness there, but it's how do I say? Oh, actually, it is now very much an interesting thing with consciousness because of how the game Soma is. It's interpreted in terms of how it interprets consciousness, and even with Advaita Vedanta being true in terms of how consciousness is handled in Soma, still very interesting. Because then it will prove my point about AI and robots. I'm sorry, I can explain the Soma game. It's a video game, and it was very interesting. Um, Still is, even with knowing Advaita Vedanta and knowing that um, it's still something I still have to think about honestly because I've not thought about too deep. I thought about it fairly deep there, and then did Advaita Vedanta, so I never really combined the two. And I need to do that and think about it. Anyways, let's continue on. Sorry.
Whether the robots can replace human beings, of course, there are some robotic engineers who say, sure, we will do that. The robots can learn faster than any of your human beings. They can calculate millionfold, not billionfold faster than you lot. So we're going to displace you. This is, of course, a challenge. But the thing that is missing in the robot so far, and they may displace that as well, is that it's not an organic material. Because it's not organic, the material is still computational. While the thing that is within all living, including little amoeba, something is not purely made out of matter, something else is kind of percolating matter, that's could be called spirit. That is the distinction. But one thing they can do, perhaps the days to come, is they might use, brain, if you like, tissues, which is organic, and plant it in computers. So the computers are in a way coming alive because now they're able to, if you like, they've got some kind of individuality. That is a possibility. So you can see this kind of highly material robots with a bit of organic material in the brain tissue plugged into them, which allows them to become almost human. That is a possibility. It's a worrying possibility.
Okay, well, that's shorter than I thought it was going to be. So interesting. He says because of the spirit that robots cannot be human-like. I disagree. I get what he's trying to say, I think, and this is something along the comments that people have said too. But there is, I guess there's a thing that, how to say, um, what makes I guess what makes robots and humans, what makes humans so uniquely different from robots, and then is there something that's uniquely different between humans and animals, and what is that? So I guess that might be the first question. First is what makes humans uniquely different from animals. You could say compassion, maybe emotions, but animals do have emotions too. It may be limited, but they do have it. But that's a limitation on the brain at that point. It's not necessarily the fact that they can't do it. It is, but it's a limitation of the brain. But if the brain were to develop, which can, animals are becoming smarter, and children are becoming smarter at a younger age too, for sure. So it's very possible for animals to feel these kind of things. I think elephants feel compassion very greatly. I believe they really do mourn the loss of one of their family members. Um, I think even wolf packs do. Say emotion is not something uniquely human. Um, what else? I'm trying to think. Anyways, the biggest thing for me, again, I'll say this again, so you hopefully can make an argument, and please post it on this video here. I would really want to collect them all and try to hopefully answer the questions fully. So basically, there's nothing unique to a human to a robot, essentially. You say emotion, but that's something that's been programmed in us for many years. Like it's something that has helped us survive. Like everything about this body, those of you who probably follow Sadhguru and probably Acharya Prashant would know that what this body is built for is for survival. So us getting, as a matter of fact, Sadhguru was talking about this in the last video, but getting horny. Um, and a lot of the behaviors we do is to be accepted in a social group because in our, I don't know, caveman days, or even not even caveman days, but um, just in our past, we needed others to survive. So to be rejected by a group of people and to be shunned away is almost certain death, because a person can't necessarily survive on their own. Some people can, depending on the situation, depending on their training, their knowledge, and all that. But generally speaking, being shunned away from a group is essentially death. The death of your genes and the death of you. So, emotions is something that's been, in a lot of sense, programmed in us, which has helped us survive. So, the people with these type of emotions are continuing passing down this emotion gene. You could just say it that way. Um, Also, people who are certain things, is able to breathe air faster or something, whatever the case may be of evolution that help us survive has been programmed into us, essentially. There are many animals that didn't survive because they weren't able to adapt. Their programming wasn't capable of adapting or can't adapt quick enough. Our programming, we're able to adapt and all that. So I say all this again. That's part of the argument. So if you have any kind of argument, please, please, please say it in the comments. What else? So again, so emotions are programming. Our brain has grown to be able to process more information, I guess. Some of us, for sure. Um, and to handle emotions and all of these other things. So our brain is not necessarily something unique. Again, that's something we can create in a sense, a fake brain from hard drives and motherboards. you you look at a child, essentially, it's almost a blank slate. It still has survival instincts. Like again, I wouldn't doubt maybe somewhere in the distant past that a baby that didn't cry if there's something wrong would pass away. So babies who cried would survive because to get the attention of the mother or father or whoever the caretaker is. And those who there's something wrong but never cried, well, they would probably pass away because, well, they didn't say anything, I guess. you know, as harsh of a reality that is, it's the truth. It's not to say that all babies who didn't cry didn't, make it, but generally speaking, if you make a loud noise, someone's going to try to stop that by either feeding you or taking care of whatever issues you have. Because again, in the distant past, too noisy can be a bad thing, but being noisy to get attention because you need something is a good thing. So crying is a survival mechanism. I don't want to say too much because this is not meant for this video, but it is part of the AI discussion. So I'm trying to make as many arguments as I can to give you fuel for your arguments here. Um, so to say consciousness is something unique to humans, which it's not, at least according to Advaita Vedanta. Consciousness is. Um, is this consciousness? Well, if you're a non-duality Advaita Vedanta, then you'd say yes. This is consciousness. Yes, this is consciousness, and without consciousness in us, well, we wouldn't exist in the first place. But just assuming this is where I have to go into a deep talk in that video about making things duality. I remember a long time ago trying to understand Advaita Vedanta. People told me sometimes you have to explain duality to understand non-duality, and I can't believe I'm actually doing that now. I'm like, I get it. Kinda, but I'm using the same method though to explain this, which is weird. So so I say robots have consciousness. Is that true? I would assume so. In terms of Advaita Vedanta, um, anything a human has, I think, has been programmed in us through evolution, through survival. So or wanting to breed, or wanting to eat, or wanting to do whatever it is, it's been programmed into us because it's what guaranteed our survival. A robot is like a baby, but even more so because it has no instincts programmed into it. So it's essentially like going back to the beginning of evolution for robots. And then us as the creators of the robots, we can program survival instincts for it. It's like, hey, when you're getting the 20% battery, plug yourself in. or, you know, uh, whenever you see damage to your arm, if you see what causes the damage, fear it because it could completely damage you, and to give it the understanding and survival instinct. Kind of like when you see snakes. For some people, completely frightened of snakes because through our survival instincts, we don't know. Most people don't know what snakes are venomous and what aren't. So, just to make sure they survive, fear all snakes. Don't take the chance. But there are people out there who handle snakes and they're like, oh, that's not venomous at all. It's literally it'll bite you, it'll hurt, but that's about it. you know, spiders. People who fear spiders because they don't know which one's venomous, which one's not. So they just say, screw it, I want to survive, not touching a spider. So, and then, like, bad smells, why we're repulsive to them because it's disease ridden. Anything has a bad smell, generally speaking, not good. So, again, all these things has been programmed in us over time. It's just that we don't think about it anymore. We don't think it's programming because it's something that's innately in us, but it's been, in my opinion, programmed into our DNA in a sense, I think. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's my assumption. I'm stating that it's an assumption here. So, hopefully I give you enough to either maybe make you think about it or maybe make a kind of argument to me on this video, please. And hopefully I make a video digging into this a lot deeper. So anyways, this has gone way past the video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sign down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.